Everyone, I am Scott Aubrey with Aubrey Law. We do estate planning and probate, and we do it well. I am super excited to be with you today. Today we're going to talk about what is a revocable trust. But before we get started, if you have any questions about what I talk about today or any questions about estate planning in general, you can go to estateplanmeeting.com, choose a time to talk with me for free. You can either talk with me by phone or come into my office and we can talk. Again, that is estateplanmeeting.com to schedule a time to talk with me for free. So today's subject is what is a revocable trust. You may have heard this or referenced it as a living trust, and basically what it is a will replacement. So with your will, your assets are directed to the court to decide how they're distributed or how go through the process of distributing your assets to your beneficiaries and to your people. With a trust, they are directed to a private entity, and then the trust determines how those things are distributed. And a revocable trust is just that, it's revocable. So what that means is during your lifetime, you can make any changes you want to that trust. And with that trust, there are certain advantages that you have over a will. But I'll get to those in a second. But I like to describe how a trust works as thinking of a revocable trust as a backpack. And during your lifetime, your backpack is open. And you can put things into your backpack, you can remove things from your backpack. You leave instructions in that backpack to determine who get those contents of your backpack. And that can be changed. So you can change who gets the contents of your backpack, when they get the contents of your backpack, and how they get the contents of your backpack. These things can all be changed during your lifetime. However, once you die, that backpack is zipped up, and those instructions that you left determine who gets the contents of your backpack. And that's basically how a trust works, is that you put things into a trust by titling them in the name of the trust. You put things into the trust by changing the beneficiary of non-probate assets as the trust. So the trust is a beneficiary of those assets. And the instructions or the terms of the trust determine who gets the assets of the trust, how they get the assets of the trust, and when. Do they get them at certain ages? Do they get them on the happening of certain events? So those are things you can do with a trust. And now that you know kind of the basics of how it functions, here's some of the advantages of having a revocable trust in your estate plan. The first thing is no probate. You may have heard stories of people who have gone through the probate process. It can be a cumbersome process, it can be an expensive process, and it can be a very time-consuming process. So with a trust, you don't have to worry about the court tying up how your estate gets distributed. The terms of the trust dictate that, so it's a much more efficient and speedier process of distributing your assets to your beneficiaries. The second thing that a trust provides, a revocable trust provides, is privacy. Is that people can't go in and see what is happening in the trust. They don't know who the beneficiaries are. They don't know what's in the trust. When your beneficiaries receive the assets of your trust, all these things are kept private. Whereas if it's a probate, those things can be found by going to the court and pulling the file of the probate of the estate. So the privacy is is a big factor, big advantage of having a revocable trust. Also, a revocable trust is very flexible. During your lifetime, you can make as many changes as you want to your trust. You can take assets in and out of the trust. So it really provides you a lot of flexibility. And then the fourth thing that a revocable trust will do is that it makes those assets that are in the trust available upon your death. So what that means is that the trustee can use assets in the trust to pay for administrative expenses, estate taxes, or debts of yourself after you die. So those are some of the advantages, whereas if it was in the probate process, it could take a long time before those assets are released. Judge needs to sign off on these, and so it could be a lot longer. So if there's an immediate need for the assets, then it could be an issue if you have to go through the probate process. So that's the basics of revocable trust. It can be a foundational piece of an estate plan, and it makes sense for a lot of people to have a revocable trust. For some people it doesn't. That's something that you should talk about with an estate planning attorney to see if a revocable trust makes sense for you. So that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions about what I talk about, please go to estateplanmeeting.com and choose a time that works best for you to talk for free. You can either do that by phone or come into my office and talk with me. Again, that's completely free, estateplanmeeting.com. If you like my video, please hit the like button. If you know someone that could benefit from seeing what I talked about today, please share this video with them. And lastly, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Again, I'm Scott Aubrey with Aubrey Law. Thank you for being here with me today, and I'll talk to you soon.